Welcome to the next video in our Yule Winter Solstice Sabbath series. I'm Innerji, the Metaphysical Crone, and I'm working in collaboration for this series with the wonderful Twisted by Mish. But I am flying solo today, and the reason for that is I'm going to be creating a crystal grid for the Yule Winter Solstice season. So let's turn the camera around and get straight to it. I love using crystal grids at different times of the year, and it's particularly for the Sabbats. So with this Yule Winter Solstice one, I have chosen some crystals that represent the colours of Yule and the Winter Solstice. So I have chosen pyrite to represent the return of the sun, the warming of the sun's energies, representing that the days will slowly start to get longer as we travel through winter. I've also chosen red jasper because red is another colour that is associated with Yule, and red jasper is an energizing, activating, warming crystal. I've also chosen green aventurine, and that represents the earth, nature. It also represents growth and abundance. I have chosen citrine. How could I not choose citrine as the gold yellow colour for the Yule Winter Solstice time frame? Citrine also represents the warmth of the sun. It also brings in confidence and joy, and I also have here a beautiful citrine sphere. And the other one I'm using is clear quartz. I love using clear quartz in all of my crystal grids because clear quartz amplifies the energies of the other crystals that I'm using. And of course, I'm going to be using some black tourmaline because we are in the darker half of the year. We've just moved into that, about a week ago. So I will be including that in my grid. So let's get started putting it all together. So I'm going to start with the tourmaline, and I'm going to place that at the base of what will be my crystal grid. The black tourmaline for me is sort of anchoring the energy of the crystal grid that I'm creating for your winter solstice. I'm then going to begin by putting my crystal citrine sphere in the center. This represents the sun in all of its glory. And of course, in mythology, we have the Oak King and the Holly King battling it out at Yule for supremacy, and the Oak King wins the battle because he is the one that brings the sun in. So this is representing the return of the sun and the energies of the sun getting stronger as we travel through the season towards spring. I'm also going to use some golden pyrite that I mentioned. So I'm going to pop that down here. And this is sort of like bringing the sun's energies onto the planet, into ourselves. Next to it, I'm going to do a red jasper either side, bringing that energy, that activation, because in winter we can go a little bit into that hibernation mode. We can be feeling, a little bit low in energy, a little bit quiet in energy. So the red jasper is to get activated and get motivated. Next, I'm going to bring in the green aventurine. And this is our connection to Mother Earth, to nature. We can get caught up staying indoors an awful lot during the winter season, and it's still important for us to get out into nature. So the green aventurine represents that. It also represents looking after our well-being and continued growth. I'm going to move to the citrines next, and I'm going to place 2 citrine points coming towards the green aventurine. Then we're going to have a citrine right at the top. I'm going to add a clear quartz crystal below it. And this is the drawing down of that sun energy, the sun of the Oak King, that energy of the Oak King, drawing it down from the sky to ourselves. Then we're going to put 2 citrines either side. I'm then going to do 2 more clear quartz, and they're going to be radiating out. And then a clear quartz coming down towards the pyrite. You know, when you're making a crystal grid, you don't have to use a lot of crystals. You don't have to use really big crystals, and you don't have to come up with a really fancy or overcomplicated design for their energies to meld and work. So the way I've done this particular crystal grid is representing the sun, the core, the giver of our lives. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have our beautiful sun in the sky. Then we're drawing the energy down from the sun with this citrine, amplified by the clear quartz, bringing it to our center, bringing it down through the clear quartz to the pyrite. It's almost like manifesting that sun's energy within ourselves. And then we have these other ones, it's sort of like the rays of the sun coming out onto the earth, energizing. So the next thing I do when I create a crystal grid is I then connect the dots, so to speak. I connect the individual crystals so that it becomes a harmonized and integrated energy. So to do that, I'm actually going to use this wand. It's a selenite wand with an amethyst tip, and you'll see each of the chakra colors along this wand spiraling around. So I start by bringing my wand over my central piece, over the citrine sphere. And I'm just going to focus and take a few deep breaths. And as I'm breathing, I'm connecting myself to the center of the universe, connecting myself to the sun that is in the sky, and drawing down that energy into the citrine sphere, activating it, energizing it, bringing in the light. I then take my wand up to my small citrine and I draw the energy down, connecting it to the clear quartz to amplify this energy of light, of abundance, bringing confidence to ourselves. And then bring the energy down through the clear quartz, amplifying once again down into that pyrite. And to me, the golden pyrite represents the manifestation of abundance, all the wonderful good things that we have here on earth. And then I bring it down to the black tourmaline, and this is anchoring it in the physical, in the everyday, in the here and now. I then come back to my central sun, and then I start to connect the radiations, the sun's rays going outwards, bringing the warmth, bringing the growth and abundance, creating these rays of the sun so that it goes out all over the earth, all over the room that you might be doing this in, taking the rays out. And then I come back to the central sun, and then I spiral. Because here in the southern hemisphere, when we look at the sun moving in the sky during the day, it appears to be moving anti-clockwise, not clockwise. In other words, it's moving deicil. In the northern hemisphere, deicil means clockwise, but here in the southern hemisphere, it means anti-clockwise, because the word deicil translates the path of the sun. So I'm going to create a spiral from the path of the sun in an anti-clockwise direction, spiraling it out, connecting all of the crystals, and then coming back to the central sun. And if while you're creating a grid, a crystal moves, that's okay. We can just place it back and just connect it back in. Now, the wonderful thing about a crystal grid is that you can use it for meditation. You can use it for crystal gazing in terms of using it as a meditation. So one way that I might use this crystal is I might sit with it quietly. If it's at night, I usually prefer to have low lighting with some candles around my crystal grid. And I just sit quietly gazing at it. And I just take a few deep breaths in and out just to center myself. Just centering my being. And then I open my eyes and I start to gaze. And I visualize myself drawing in the energy from this crystal grid, drawing it into my heart, filling my heart with the life-giving energy of the sun, bringing in joy. And because the sun and because the citrine in particular is associated with the solar plexus, with this grid, I would want to bring that energy into my solar plexus, connecting with my inner sun, building my confidence, my self-esteem, bringing my energy at the core, at my power center of this chakra. And then I would just sit quietly, allowing the energies to harmonize with me, and perhaps tuning into any messages from spirit that might come through. When I've completed my meditation, I offer gratitude and thanks. I gently extinguish any candles I may have used, and then I leave the grid set up on my altar for the Yule winter solstice period. Now, with this grid, I will leave it up for the entire winter period for me, because it represents what the energies that I want to utilize during winter. But you can leave it on your altar for as long or as short a time as possible. Some people will only put their grids up or their altars up only for the actual days of Yule and the winter solstice. Others a few days before, a few days after. It's purely personal choice. I hope you found this crystal grid of help and how to go about it of interest for you. I do hope you will create your own crystal grid. And remember, if you don't have the specific crystals I've used, use your intuition to choose the ones that you feel that you need for this Yule winter solstice period. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, many blessings to you.